In this episode, after a great week of cruising, sadly it's time to head back to the marina and head back home. Welcome aboard. These are some of my absolutely favorite moments when we're on the water. It's beautifully quiet, birds are calling, nobody's awake yet. The air is just so fresh and cool, and this is really good for the soul. One of the things about early morning that I love is how still the water is, and as a result, the reflection of the clouds against the water is just so beautiful, and it's kind of random at the same time, but it's one of those things I've really started to notice and just absolutely enjoy. But all that peace and tranquility has to come to an end at some point, and with the sun coming up even more, cruise boats were out showing tourists and even locals the beauty of the Thousand Islands. It was a good time for a coffee. Although it might seem civilization is 1,000 miles away when we're on the islands, on the horizon is Gananoque. It's not far at all. And in one of the mooring balls surrounding Camelot, we found a friend of ours. That looks peaceful. Sadly, all good things must come to an end sometime. Around midday, we decided to leave Camelot Island and make our way back. We'd made some good friends in a very short period of time, one of whom is helping us cast off from the dock, and it would just be a leisurely run to get us back to the landing at Ivy Lea. Camelot was a great island. All the docks were new, and you can see how wide some of them are. But it was time to get back. The weather forecast for today was pretty much what you're seeing right now. Partly cloudy, sunny, not very windy at all, a couple of gusts, but really perfect weather. For tomorrow, on the other hand, it was looking like rain and some higher winds, and I thought if we have our option of going back to our marina in this weather or rainy, windy weather, I was going to pick this. Okay, here's the route. Really simple. We leave Camelot Island, which is the red circle down at the lower left of your screen, and go straight up to the northeast along the Canadian Middle Channel, up to the point number 1 on the map. From there, we go north, follow the buoys, and right into the landing at Ivy Lea. It took about half an hour, 40 minutes, and we were just taking our time. As we were cruising back to Ivy Lea, Jacqueline and I were reminiscing, well, of course, and a bit of analyzing over the last several days. What were some of the highlights? Where were some areas that we could improve? What would we do differently next year? Would we do this again next year? Well, the answer to that is a definite yes. This was an awesome, awesome trip. For me personally, I think the biggest single takeaway was that I became so much more confident and so much more competent in piloting the boat. I really saw the difference between day one and today. Part of that is that it was forced practice. At times, the conditions weren't always ideal for us to dock. The current might be against us, or the wind wasn't in our favor, or there was nobody to help us dock. But together, Jacqueline and I were able to make it happen more and more easily, better every time, and we really got our drills down and our communication for docking. That's absolutely tremendous. Every island we went to, every destination, every place had its very unique charm, and it was quite captivating. I mean, we'd go back to any of those islands next year or the year after. When there were people at the docks, it was easy to strike up conversations. People were helpful, people had similar interests. Whether you're a sailboater talking to a powerboater or vice versa, it didn't really matter. I enjoyed that a lot. The flip side of that is there were times we had entire islands to ourselves. I mean, think about that. There are millionaires who shell out all sorts of money to buy islands and have that kind of privacy. We basically got it for free. And it's important to remember that this is our third year of ever owning a boat. I wasn't even sure we were going to have a boating season with the leak in the gas tank and systems not working and just everything built up. So to be able to have a couple of nights out at islands, and then this week when all the systems were working, we were able to salvage the season and end on a high note. And as a result, both Jacqueline and I are even more enthused for what next season can bring. We're going to do a best of Cruise 2021 video. I think we have so much information that we want to share, and it's probably good to balance out the highs and the lows of the trip. Coming into the dock is always a little bit challenging. There isn't a whole lot of room in between our berth and the boat beside us. That's the Sea Ray with the black canvas, just straight ahead. There's also a current that pushes us from right to left, and it tends to catch the stern more than it does the bow. So what I'm trying to do is use the current to let us drift a little bit and then align the bow. So when we're in the right position, or just before, put the shifters forward and go into the dock positively. Now it does look like I'm going to hit the Sea Ray. Don't be alarmed. The bow curves a bit, so I'm not actually going to hit them or make contact. But you can see me letting it drift. And forward. Let's go. Let's get in there. Yeah, we're in. Was I sweating? Maybe a little bit. That's half the fun. And this is the next morning at the marina. Good decision on our part to decide to come in a day early while the winds were low and the weather was perfect. Hey everybody, if you like what you saw, click that like button, hit subscribe, tell your friends, leave us comments. I hope you enjoyed our 2021 cruise. Don't ever stop exploring, and we'll see you next time on Aqualibrium.